Hi guys, welcome to Nerdbite. This is going to be my spoiler review for the Power Rangers movie. Yes, of course there will be spoilers, but I'm putting into the second half of my review, so I will let you know when they're coming. Power Rangers, they've decided to reboot Power Rangers. I've been looking forward to this actually for a while. The trailers have been doing quite well. I've heard the gritty reboot is the way they're going with things, but it's obviously the original 5 characters, Zordon and Alpha as well, and you know, there's quite a good cast involved in this as well, and you know, there seems to be a lot of nostalgia that I could have potentially enjoyed, and to be honest, I really quite enjoyed it. I didn't think I would, because I thought maybe they might ruin it. There's so many reboots that have happened in the past and it just has not worked, and this potentially could have been one of them, but I think they actually knocked it out of the park. So obviously if you know Power Rangers, you know the simple story. 5 teenagers get their power coins, they can morph with super suits, use dinosaurs, megazords and blow up and all this kind of stuff. Zordon is there, and Alpha 5 is doing comedy bits and whatnot, and you know the basic gist, but I didn't think this would end up being as entertaining as I thought. I thought it would be quite a throwaway popcorn flick. It was going to be full of cheese and it wasn't going to amount to anything decent. But with this, they were able to put one foot in the past with a little bit of cheese and a little bit of comic effect like they did in the series, while still being some kind of gritty reboot of these 5 teenagers struggling with teenage life and adult life, and really having a lot of their own problems as well, and coming together as a team and generally feeling like they are part of a team and having all these problems and all this kind of stuff. And it generally worked quite well. I think the chemistry with these 5 actors playing these characters worked really well. My favourite character has got to be Billy in this, I think. It had that worry of being just too over the top, but it had just amount on the right of over top, and it just worked really well. The character was fun and geeky and everything. Obviously the main 3 characters in this were Jason, Billy and Kim, but they did focus on Trini and Zach as well. Not as much, but we still got backstories for all 5 characters, and each character I felt for. I think, shit, that's a horrible situation and a shitty situation to be in, and it obviously helps and develops them as they come together later on in the film. Casting Bryan Cranston as Zordon, brilliant. I honestly think it was such a good move doing that. I mean, obviously he's tied to the series in a way because he used to do voiceover for the original series, and seeing him as Zordon was just brilliant. It was so much fun seeing that character, because as soon as he talks he commands your presence, and having that overarching character just works so well. Bill Hader was Alpha 5. Again, it worked. I mean, the way Alpha 5 looked, I'm not a massive fan of it, but Bill made it work. He really did make it work, and it was a lot of fun to see. And also Elizabeth Banks as Rita. I've seen a lot of people out there on their reviews and opinions and everything saying that she was really over the top. And I suppose the character kind of was, but it always was anyway. It was quite an over the top and eccentric character. But in this, I really quite enjoyed it. She was eccentric, she was crazy, she was some kind of like Gollum thing searching for stuff, and she was a real fucked up character, and she was a badass as well. She could kick ass. You know what I mean? She could really beat up the Rangers. She wasn't just this person on that high tower sending down monsters. She was doing her own dirty work, and it was cool to see that. It was different. As far as the suits and the Zords go, I quite like the look of them. I honestly think that when they're in movement and everything and seeing them and that, I really quite enjoyed it. I think it worked quite well. It worked well with the gritty reboot, and yeah, I don't really have any complaints with that. Okay, I'm going into spoiler territory now, so if you don't want to know anything about the film, make sure you skip ahead to the end to find out my final verdict. It's spoiler time, you have been warned. One of my favourite scenes in this was definitely the campfire scene. I think it was after they did a load of training and whatnot, and this is the first time they kind of all sat together and really started talking to each other and bringing out their past and whatnot. And it works so well. The chemistry they put together here with these characters just worked really well, and that campfire scene really helped it work. It feels like The Breakfast Club. If anybody's seen The Breakfast Club, it's a great film. Obviously you should definitely watch it. It felt like that. 5 people from different backgrounds all coming together and working together, and it totally worked. Training montage, again, it was cheesy, but it was also, it worked really well. It's really fun to see them beating up all these kind of characters and getting themselves beaten up and all this kind of stuff, and then they were training and whatnot. It was a lot of, Alpha 5 was involved quite a lot. He was quite a useful character, to be honest. He wasn't as pathetic as he was in the series. He was actually quite useful, and especially to Zordon as well. He wasn't just this kind of character going yeah all the time. He was quite a pivotal character in this, and it worked. Again, it worked. Opening as well was awesome. Seeing Zordon actually in the Red Ranger suit, and then Rita in the Green Ranger suit, and basically put into motion of what, why, and where they are, and how it builds up. It was a good little opener. It really was quite cool to see that, and all the other Rangers have perished. That was cool. Oh, I mean, when she lured the Rangers into the boat docks and beat the shit out of them, and then she killed Billy. I mean, as soon as it happened, I thought, there's no way they're going to kill him. They've got to bring him back. And the more they dragged it on, he died, and they walked him all the way back to the command centre to see him get Zordon to try and do something. And even Zordon went, there's nothing I can do. I was like, oh my god, have they actually gone and killed Billy? Have they done this? What is going on? That's a really bold move. But of course, Billy does not die, and I'm kind of happy he doesn't, because he was, like I say, he's my favourite character, but I'm glad he didn't die. They had this thing where Zordon's trying to get back into his human form and whatnot. Zordon's a bit more of an arrogant prick in this, to be perfectly honest, a bit of a dick in this, but it works. And as he's trying to phase through to the Force World to come back as a human character, instead of doing that and bringing himself back, he brings Billy back and comes and says there can only be one Red Ranger and there can only one that can come back, and he brings Billy back. That was a nice moment. That shows the humanity side of Zordon, works really well, and it shows his development with Jason as well. It works well as well. Yeah, I mean, it was a cool scene. The finale. It was over the top. It was full on Power Ranger stuff. You even got the theme tune as well as they're running through with all the dinosaurs. That was cool. Then they all attack this Goldar that Rita has built out of gold, which I suppose he's more of a mindless monster than he was in the series, but I wasn't bothered because Rita was such a badass character in this. And they were attacking him Zord to Zord, and then they were getting their asses beat, and she was trying to find the Zeo crystal, which is the overarching thing in this film, and she ends up finding it in a Krispy Kreme, which just made me hungry for Krispy Kremes for some reason. And yeah, and then they get pushed into the pit where the Zeo crystal is, and then before you know it, they transform into the Megazord, which I kind of would have liked to have seen them actually transform into the Megazord. You don't really see it. I would have actually seen them like to connect together, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, and then you see them attack each other, massive fight and whatnot, and then they smack her, and off she goes into space. Then the last thing you see is the moon behind her, and that is a nice little callback to the series, and knowing where this is going in the future. She's going to be on the moon as her base. It was a cool finale, it was a cool ending, and she wasn't killed, she was defeated, so it carries on for more films, and it was cool. Negatives. The only negatives I say, sometimes it was a little bit cheesy. I would have liked to see the Megazord kind of transform properly, and I kind of would have liked them to actually do the Morphin thing where they call out their Zords as they transform. Maybe we'll get it in another film, but I just kind of wanted to see that, as my little kid inside me really wanted to see it. Apart from that, everything else I quite enjoyed. The end credit scene as well, just after the kind of a mid-credit scene, they're all in detention again, and then the teacher calls out, we have a new student that's in detention with us today, Tommy Oliver, and he just keeps calling Tommy Oliver out, and he's not there, but there's a green jacket on the back of the chair, and just like, oh, this is great. They're actually going to go with the Green Ranger for the next film, which I can't wait for. It's going to be awesome. Green Ranger is one of the best characters in this series. It's going to be great. Guys, overall, if you're a fan of the Power Rangers series, you're going to enjoy this. If you're not a fan of it, you're not going to enjoy it, because it has some cheese, it has some funny moments, and it's not going to be a massive blockbuster where it's going to be the best film ever. Of course it isn't. But it was still a fun reboot. It still had good character development, and although it had some flaws here and there, it was still an enjoyable film, and I came away entertained. Is it going to be the best film in the world? No. But I still reckon it's fair to give it 3 stars. So that's what I thought of the Power Rangers movie. What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments, or send me an email. You can also find me in the various social media, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and moviepilot.com. Just type in Nerd Bites anywhere and I'm sure you'll find me. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my videos. And of course, keep it nerdy.